So this is a pomegranate art puzzle. It's a Charley Harper. I love the Charley Harper puzzles. So Charley Harper's art style is very color blocked, very sort of obvious which color is which makes them awesome for jigsaw puzzles. There are lots of oil paintings I love that are awful, actually trying to do them as a puzzle. Charley Harper is one of the exceptions where the art style lends itself really naturally to jigsaw puzzles and really naturally to speed puzzling too. So big fan of the Charley Harper puzzles, was lucky enough to, I think I've gotten my hands on almost all of them now. But so for this one, I decided to start with the border. As you can see, I'm not really speed puzzling because my coffee is in the middle of the table. There's actually a team at Worlds called No Snacks. Because really when you're speed puzzling, even during the 3-hour team session, you should not have snacks. You should be focused and going. I am not always focused and going when I practice because I like puzzling and so I do it for fun. And in this case, my coffee joined me. There's very frequently in the background of my videos a cup of either coffee or tea. Not always obvious where it is, but it's almost always there. So now that I've gotten the border framed out, I'm actually starting to build. There's a black bird that is fairly easy to build because I could sort of grab a lot of black pieces and put them together. So I've done that, and now what I'm doing is I'm looking for other kind of obviously colored pieces. So I've gotten some red pieces that go along the bottom. I've grabbed those and put them together. I'm grabbing this sort of pink that goes on the right-hand side and some oranges. So basically, what I'm trying to do is anything that's like a really obvious color or pattern, grabbing those pieces, putting them together, putting them in the puzzle. You can see that's actually going pretty well. Like this is not a bad spot to be at for me in a 1,000 piece, especially one that I'm doing casually. I was initially worried about this image. I thought there would be way too much white and it would be too difficult. It wasn't. So starting to continue to fill in the bottom, the reason is that all the patterns were pretty obvious there. So towards the top, there are these vertical lines or diagonal lines in the top left. Do not recommend starting with those. Those were actually much more tricky than I expected. They're all sort of different widths, and they didn't really pop in the flipped pieces. So rather than try to do those, I focused on, okay, well, let's get some of this bottom done, which does have this sort of much more colorful pattern, is much easier to see. I've also managed to get some birds together. So we've got this eagle kind of chilling, now attached into the frame. We've got a few other birds that I'm starting to build. And then attaching into the frame as I see them. So that was one of the strategies that I've done with a lot of these puzzles, is to try to build the obvious chunks first, and then attach them into the frame, and then shape sort and fill in around the obvious chunks. So really pretty puzzle. I really am obsessed with the Charley Harper series. They're also just fun to do because you can kind of divide it up. Like I can just, you can do the eagle, you can do the flowers. You can see now that I've said, okay, well, I've gotten a lot of that stuff done. Let's build these little black things. Because it's also so chunkable, it's pretty fast. This is a fast puzzle for 1,000 pieces for me, especially for one that I'm not speed running. So now I've gotten a lot of those flowers in. So one thing I could do here that might have been a smart idea would be to just grab the rest of the dark pieces and sort of just put them all in, shape sort them and put them all in. I'm not shape sorting and doing it, but I am kind of grabbing a lot of the dark pieces and filling it in. Return to the puzzle with a new cup of coffee. That's iced coffee over to the right. So now that I've gotten most of those dark pieces in, I am left with this sort of mass of white pieces. And so I am starting to shape sort. So on the right-hand side, that's my shape sorted pile. I'm kind of testing pieces and then putting them into the shape sorted pile once I find that there's no home for them, or no home that I have seen yet. So this does slow down quite a bit. I think I had been doing really well on speed up until this point. Unfortunately, when you get to the point where you have to shape sort and you're just sort of testing pieces, it definitely slows down. So yeah, just sort of doing a last sort of like test it all out, figure out what fits now. Look at that. There we are. Awesome puzzle. Highly recommend this series if you can find it.